Adolf Hitler, 1889 to 1945, was the leader of Nazi Germany, whose actions led to World War II and the Holocaust. Below is a detailed overview of his life and career based on historical records **** Adolf Hitler's early life. 1889 to 1913 shaped his worldview and set the stage for his later political career. Below is a detailed account of this period. Based on historical records ***, born April 20, 1889, in Braunau am in Austria, a small town near the German border. Then part of Austria-Hungary. ***, parents. Adolf was the fourth of 6 children born to Alois Hitler, 1837 to 1903, a customs official, and Clara Hitler, 1860 to 1907, his third wife. Alois was a strict authoritarian figure, while Clara was caring and protective, fostering a strong bond with Adolf. Only Adolf and his younger sister, Paula, 1896 to 1960, survived to adulthood. His older siblings, Gustav Ida and Otto, in infancy, and his younger brother Edmund died in 1900. Alois wanted Adolf to follow in his footsteps as a civil servant, but Adolf dreamed of becoming an artist. This led to rebellion against his father's authority. After Alois's sudden death in 1903 from a lung hemorrhage, Hitler's academic performance declined. World War I, 1914 to 1918, German Army. When World War I broke out in August 1914, Hitler, living in Munich, enthusiastically volunteered for the German Army at age 25. Although an Austrian citizen, he was allowed to join the 16th Bavarian Reserve Infantry Regiment, List Regiment. After petitioning King Ludwig III of Bavaria, his decision reflected his fervent German nationalism and rejection of the multi-ethnic Austro-Hungarian Empire. Hitler served as a Jeffreiter, lance corporal, and worked as a dispatch runner, delivering messages between command posts and front lines on the Western Front, primarily in France and Belgium. This role was dangerous, exposing him to enemy fire. But it was not a leadership position. Contrary to later Nazi propaganda, he participated in major battles, including the First Battle of Ypres, 1914, the Battle of the Somme, 1916, and the Battle of Passchendaele, 1917. He was wounded twice. October 1916, a shell fragment injured his thigh during the Somme, leading to hospitalization in Germany. October 1918, he was temporarily blinded by a British mustard gas attack near Ypres and sent to a military hospital in Pasewalk, Germany. Hitler received the Iron Cross, second class 1914, for bravery in delivering messages under fire, and the Iron Cross, first class, 1918, a rare honor for an officer. Though historians debate whether this was for exceptional valor or routine duties, these awards later bolstered his image as a war hero. Attitude toward war. Hitler thrived in the military's structured environment, finding purpose in the war. He was known as a dedicated but socially aloof soldier, often reading or sketching. In his downtime and abstaining from common soldier vices like drinking or visiting brothels, he expressed contempt for defeatist or socialist sentiments among fellow soldiers. Impact of the war. German nationalism reinforced. The war deepened Hitler's belief in German superiority and militarism. He idealized the camaraderie of the trenches and saw the conflict as a test of national strength. Germany's surrender in November 1918 devastated Hitler, who was still hospitalized. He bought into the stab-in-the-back myth propagated by right-wing groups, which falsely claimed that Germany was betrayed by Jews, Marxists, and civilian leaders, the November criminals, rather than defeated militarily. The war's outcome and the Treaty of Versailles 1919, which imposed territorial losses, reparations, and military restrictions on Germany, fueled Hitler's resentment. He viewed the Weimar Republic, established in 1919, as weak and illegitimate. Blaming it for Germany's humiliation, political involvement, 1919 to 1923, post-war Munich, after the war. Hitler remained in the army, stationed in Munich, a hotbed of political unrest. He worked in the army's political department, monitoring extremist groups to prevent revolutionary activity, such as the short-lived Bavarian Soviet Republic, 1919. Joining the German Workers' Party DEP in September 1919, Hitler was assigned to investigate the DEP, a small nationalist anti-Semitic group founded by Anton Drexler, impressed by its anti-Jewish and anti-Marxist rhetoric. Hitler joined as member number 555, though membership numbers were inflated to exaggerate the group's size. He was likely among the first 100 members. Hitler's oratorical skills quickly made him a standout. His passionate speeches, blending nationalism, anti-Semitism, and anti-communism, attracted growing audiences. By 1920, he became the party's chief propagandist, organizing rallies and crafting its public image. In February 1920, Hitler and Drexler renamed the DAP the National Socialist German Workers' Party, NSDAP, or Nazi Party, to appeal to both nationalists and workers. The party adopted the swastika as its symbol, drawing on its ancient associations with Aryan identity, and developed a 25-point program combining nationalism, anti-Semitism, and socialist rhetoric, though the latter was largely superficial. Propaganda and mass appeal. Hitler emphasized propaganda to expand the party's reach. He organized large public meetings, using inflammatory rhetoric to exploit post-war grievances, economic hardship, Versailles terms, and fear of communism. His speeches attacked Jews as scapegoats for Germany's woes, resonating with a frustrated middle and working class. Creation of the SA in 1921. Hitler formed the Sturmabteilung SA, or Stormtroopers, a paramilitary group led by Ernst Röhm. The SA intimidated political opponents, particularly communists and socialists, and protected Nazi rallies. This marked the party's shift toward violent tactics. Leadership consolidation by July 1921. Hitler ousted Drexler to become party chairman, consolidating control. He cultivated a cult of personality, presenting himself as Germany's savior. Membership grew from a few hundred in 1919 to about 20,000 by 1923. Beer Hall Putsch, 1923 by 1923. Germany faced hyperinflation and economic collapse, weakening the Weimar government. The French occupation of the Ruhr, Germany's industrial heartland, to enforce reparations payments fueled nationalist outrage. Hitler saw an opportunity to seize power. Inspired by Mussolini's March on Rome 1922, on November 8, 1923, Hitler, supported by the SA and allies like General Erich Ludendorff, a World War I hero, attempted to overthrow the Bavarian government in Munich. He stormed a beer hall where Bavarian leaders were meeting, declaring a national revolution, and forcing them at gunpoint to support his coup. The next day, November 9th, Hitler led a march of about 2,000 supporters through Munich to seize key buildings. Failure and arrest. The march met police resistance at the Odeonsplatz. In a brief shootout, 16 Nazis and 4 policemen were killed. Hitler fled, but was arrested 2 days later on November 11, 1923. The failure exposed the Nazis' lack of broad support and organizational weaknesses. Hitler's trial for high treason in early 1924 became a platform for his propaganda. He delivered defiant speeches, blaming Jews and the Weimar Republic for Germany's plight. Sentenced to 5 years in Landsberg prison, he served only 9 months due to lenient treatment, during which he wrote Mein Kampf's ideological formation. World War I solidified Hitler's belief in struggle, militarism, and German racial superiority. His anti-Semitism, already developing in Vienna, intensified as he embraced conspiracy theories about Jewish influence, oratory, and propaganda. Hitler honed his public speaking during this period, learning to manipulate crowds with emotional appeals. His ability to simplify complex issues into slogans, for example, blaming Jews and communists, was key to the Nazi Party's early growth. Alliances and rivalries. Hitler aligned with right-wing figures like Ludendorff, but clashed with rivals within the DAP, such as Drexler, cementing his authoritarian leadership style. Lessons from the Putsch. The failure of the beer hall putsch convinced Hitler to pursue power legally through elections rather than coups, setting the stage for his later rise. The period from 1914 to 1923 transformed Hitler from a marginal figure into a recognized political agitator. World War I gave him purpose and a narrative of betrayal, while his early political involvement built the Nazi Party into a viable, if still fringe, movement. His experiences during this time military service, exposure to propaganda, and the failed putsch shaped his strategies and ideology. Laying the groundwork for his rise to power in the 1930s, World War II and the Holocaust. 1939 to 1945, Hitler's invasion of Poland on September 1, 1939, triggered World War II. Early successes included the conquest of Poland, France, and much of Western Europe by 1940, using blitzkrieg tactics. However, his invasion of the Soviet Union, 1941, and declaration of war on the U.S. after Pearl Harbor, 1941, stretched Germany's resources. Hitler's anti-Semitic ideology culminated in the final solution: the systematic genocide of 6 million Jews and millions of others, including Romani people, disabled individuals, and political dissidents. Concentration camps like Auschwitz became centers of mass murder, orchestrated by figures like Heinrich Himmler and Adolf Eichmann. Downfall by 1943. Germany faced defeats at Stalingrad and in North Africa. Allied bombings and advances eroded Nazi control. Hitler's erratic leadership, including refusing retreats, worsened Germany's position. By 1945, the Allies closed in on Berlin. Final days and death, 1945 * suicide, on April 30, 1945. With defeat imminent, Hitler and Braun died by suicide. Hitler by gunshot and cyanide, Braun by cyanide. Their bodies were burned to prevent desecration, per his instructions.